Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Keith Pascal, CMDB Worldwide Support Lead. Today we're going to talk about the Discovery Wizard in the CMS UI. So how do I do this? How do I run Discovery in the new Discovery Wizard? Well, there's a couple of steps. You create zones, you assign IP range groups, you create and or assign job groups, you create schedules, credentials groups, and then you run the discovery. So how do I work with zones? These are not management zones that you'll see in the traditional CMDB interface. These are called zones, but they are different types of zones. In the CMS UI, you can go to the menu, which is kind of the hamburger thing on the left-hand side, go to Discovery and Integration and Discovery. If you don't have any probes installed, then the system detects that and prompts you to install a probe first. If no zones are found, then the system will prompt you to create a zone. Otherwise, you would select the New Zone button. This is what that interface looks like when we create a new zone. You can see that on the left-hand side, there are 4 steps to this, being the IP range and the name that you're going to use, the job groups, the schedules and credentials, and then the summary and the save. So you have to give the zone a name, and it's always a good idea to give a description. The description field is not mandatory, but it should be filled in. If there's no IP addresses assigned to a probe, then you have to do that first. If you want to select specific IP ranges, then you should do that before you start adding the zone. The user can also select all of the IPs from a given probe and select next. On the next step, you're going to create job groups. If you don't have job groups, you can create them on the fly from here. And remember, this is goal-based discovery. So under the category, you select which category you want to use. And under the option, the specific options that you want to specify to execute. Under customize, you would select any additional options that you would like, and then select next. The next step is to create the schedules and credential groups. If you have not created the credential groups, you should probably do that before we start. You can select the job group from the previous step and then set different schedules for it. An interval of 1 day, an interval of 7 or 14 days. And then you can select the credential groups and add any additional discovery activities as desired. Once you're done, you can click on Summary and Save, and you can save this particular credential. And note that you can activate this upon saving. There's a checkbox for that. And this will give you an overview. In this case, my name is Zone 1. The description is my first zone. I am activating this once I save it. I'm using all of the IP range groups that are on a probe called FTC06 UCM55. And I've got the job groups of HC by shell running once a day with the all credentials group. If I had not selected to activate this zone, then I can activate it on the zone page just by clicking this toggle right here and activate the zone. Over time, this zone will update with the discovery results. So you can see on the left-hand side, I activated the zone, the progress was at 0%, and there were no discovery results. But you see that I had 2 CIs that had reached the probe and that were executing. These are all clickable. So I could click on any of these to see the current status of the triggers. After a bit of time, I had run some discovery jobs. One of them had a successful run, and then 10 additional ones were in the reached stage. So I have a total of 11 triggers. Again, these are clickable, and I can see the communication logs, for example, from these, or I can watch the progress. Again, after some amount of time, my progress was 100% done. I had 82 discovery results, which is also clickable. And you can see that I had 8 CIs that finished with success, and I had 3 errors. I could click on this error and go and actually see what it is that I've got going on in that particular discovery job. If I select the status, I can determine the results of the run. For example, you can see up on the upper right-hand side that we have a filter here that has 2 things that are being filtered, right? These statuses are all green, so this is one of the things that I'm filtering on. It's showing me all those jobs. These are my IP addresses, host names, which probe it ran on, and what the CI type was, right? So there was one range IP by ICMP that ran on my discovery probe CI itself. And then I had all these IP addresses, and I ran host connection by shell. You can right-click a trigger to get a drop-down menu, and I can here view the communication log. I can rerun. I can rerun with a communication log set to true. I can rerun immediately and have a communication log and record the results. Oftentimes, support will ask you to do this particular activity because they want to see the communication log and the results that came back from this particular job. I can also look at the results for each triggered CI. If I have an error, I can right-click on those and show the error details, which will go ahead and show me a communication log, or it will show me the error that I got on the CMDB side. For example, the error details here is that I had an NTCMD command timeout. I can also right-click and look at a communication log. And this is in the same format that we currently have. It's just retrieved in a much more timely fashion for this particular probe. So you can see that I had some NTCMD connection and my network path was not accessible. I can also click on the hyperlink of the discovery results to see what kind of results I had for this particular zone. On the left-hand side, you can see all of the different CI types that were discovered, 8 Windows devices, 2 nodes, 8 NTCMDs, 1 IP subnet, 12 IP addresses, 17 interfaces, and 2 DNS servers. And you can see details about each one of these. Additionally, I can click on this button up here in the upper right-hand corner to show different columns for this display. And this is all done via the REST API. Thank you very much. Have a great day.